Welcome back, everyone. I've got another immediate movie reaction here. This one is going to be a little bit short. So I did see Evil Dead Rise, a movie that I was kind of hesitant to see. Um, the previews made it look pretty good. However, I have a weird history with Evil Dead. I saw the first two movies when I was much too young, and so it's always kind of traumatized me. And then that 2013 reboot, remake, whatever, Evil Dead, that just really struck some chord with me. And I was kind of like, I can't watch this really gross out body horror anymore. It's too much violence. I don't know, but I've continued watching those films. So seeing that this movie from the previews was going to be a lot about kids, and at least would have kids in it, and that is something that as I'm getting older, especially, it just isn't sitting well with me. I didn't know I wanted to see this, but I figured, what the hell? Here we are. And honestly, it's, I think, the worst of all of the Evil Dead movies. Even Army of Darkness, if you want to count that within the pantheon of the films. It didn't have the graphic impact that the other films have had. The violence in this, while pronounced, very bloody, very violent, almost to the level of, like, if you've seen 13 Ghosts, that kind of comic level of violence. Well, I mean, I guess like that's the Evil Dead thing, right? Just buckets of blood. That is there, but it just never felt like it had really a weight or of an impact. Even when, spoilers, these kids are getting hurt and stabbed, and all the gory, graphic nastiness that is happening, I just didn't really care. The first half of the movie, it's really short. It's maybe an hour and a half, maybe a little bit over an hour and a half. The first half of the movie just kind of is maybe setting up characters, but more setting up characters. It's setting up a scenario, right? Because the characters are ancillary. They really don't matter. Even the kids, they're all kind of forgettable, and they're just, anyone who is there to be brutally murdered. And maybe that sounds callous, but it just wasn't that interesting. As they're setting everything up, you just plotting the points of how the violence is going to transpire later, right? Oh, the kid dropped a pair of heavy-duty scissors under their bed. Okay, guess what's going to happen to that? Oh, look, they're putting together a tattoo gun. Well, something's going to happen with that. Oh, there's a big glass vase. Okay, there's a wood chipper. Surprise! Even though I guess where I enjoyed this film, what I liked about it was, those kind of callbacks. They do the Sam Raimi moving camera, the sort of Evil Dead calling card, and some of that is really good. I like what they did with the technology and sort of updating it. I appreciate that this wasn't just another movie at a cabin, especially after watching Cabin in the Woods, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. I just have a hard time taking them seriously, even though it does start out with a really stupid, like the beginning of this movie is really horrible. But then it moves into this high-rise apartment building that is being condemned, and the setting, actually, I don't know if it was, going to assume that it was intentional. The filming of this movie is sort of claustrophobic, and what I say to that is everything isn't tight, but it isn't just that it's tight on the characters. It's the ceilings and the floors are pretty low, so while it's expansive, left to right, it feels like everything is pressed down and then to this sort of letterbox screen that you're watching. And I thought that was kind of cool. But as far as using the atmosphere of the building and all that, it's kind of a fail, though. They don't do a good job of bringing that up. Everything, the doors being locked or the elevator not working, like, you just kind of know what's happening. And if you've seen the previews, That's pretty much everything. You could just fill in some blood and gore in between each of those scenes, and like that's what you got. Um, yeah, I guess I don't really know what to say. This movie I thought was kind of a letdown. I expected a little bit more. Um, looking at it again, stream it, see it, stream it, or skip it. If you're a big fan of the series, I don't think there's any reason to pay to see this movie in the theaters. Go ahead and stream it. If you don't like gory horror movies, if you're not into the franchise, then skip it. Oh, that's what I did want to say. So going back to the use of technology, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of going out of order here, but they do update it, right? And so it's set in this apartment building, and they find the Necronomicon in this old bank vault that's under, after an earthquake, it's under the floor in a vault. And of course, the kids find it and they bring it up and they say, don't do it, but they do it anyway because that's what people do. They do stupid things in horror movies. That's why we have horror movies. But it's kind of the Necronomicon itself is sort of the monstrous book of monsters from Harry Potter, and it looks really goofy. It looks really silly, and the way they bring it to life, like the chant or the magic spell, whatever it is that they have to call out. Of course, the kids aren't going to be able to read this book, so they have a set of records that one of the kids is a DJ, and he's able to play the records because of course, the records are also there by this priest who was kind of figuring out translating the book. So as he's translating, he's reading it, and then the kid's playing. Sort of like Ghostface Killer's 13 Reasons to Die album, which, by the way, is one of the best hip-hop albums I think ever made. I will fight someone for that. I love that. But so I kind of thought maybe that's where they were going, but instead it just kind of calls the demon, and the demon comes in and takes over people, and then back to the beginning where I was, where everybody in this film is going to die, and they're going to die horribly, and it's fine because that's all they are. They're just characters that are there to die. So I'm gonna go back here, see it, stream it, or skip it. Don't see it in the theaters. Not worth spending money on. If you're a fan, stream it. Otherwise, skip it. It's fine. All right. Thank you. I appreciate everyone, and I will see you after the next movie.